Edward Gough Whitlam was an Australian politician and the 21st Prime Minister of Australia, serving from 1972 to 1975. His tenure was marked by significant and sweeping reforms, making him one of the most transformative figures in Australian political history. Below is a detailed biography of his life and career, exceeding 700 words. Early life and education. Edward Gough Whitlam was born on July 11, 1916, in Kew, a suburb of Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. He was the eldest of 4 children born to Frederick Whitlam, a prominent public servant, and his wife, Martha Maddox. The Whitlam family moved to Sydney in 1918, where young Gough spent much of his childhood. Whitlam's education began at Mowbray House School, followed by Knox Grammar School. He later attended Sydney Boys High School, where he excelled academically and developed an interest in public speaking and debating. His scholastic prowess led him to the University of Sydney, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts in 1938 and a Bachelor of Laws in 1946. His studies were interrupted by World War II, during which he served in the Royal Australian Air Force, RAF, as a navigator. Military service. Whitlam enlisted in the RAF in 1941, during the height of World War II. He served in various capacities, primarily as a navigator in the Pacific Theatre. His military service was a formative experience, shaping his views on international affairs and social justice. After the war, Whitlam returned to complete his legal studies and was admitted to the bar in 1947. Political career. Whitlam joined the Australian Labor Party, ALP, in 1945, drawn to its progressive policies and vision for social equity. His political career began in earnest when he was elected to the House of Representatives for the seat of Wiriwa in 1952. His intellect, oratory skills, and dedication quickly earned him a reputation as a rising star within the party. In 1960, Whitlam was elected deputy leader of the ALP, and in 1967, he became the leader of the opposition. His leadership marked a period of modernization for the ALP, which had been struggling with internal divisions and electoral defeats. Whitlam rebranded the party, broadening its appeal and focusing on progressive policies aimed at social reform, economic development, and international engagement. Prime Ministership, 1972 to 1975. Gough Whitlam became Prime Minister following the ALP's victory in the 1972 federal election, ending 23 years of Conservative rule. His campaign slogan, "It's Time," captured the public's desire for change and reform. Whitlam's government embarked on an ambitious program of social and economic reforms, transforming Australia in numerous ways. Healthcare and education. Whitlam introduced Medibank, the precursor to Australia's current universal healthcare system, Medicare. His government also abolished university fees, making higher education accessible to all Australians. Foreign policy. Whitlam's foreign policy was marked by a shift towards Asia, recognizing China and withdrawing Australian troops from Vietnam. He also opposed apartheid in South Africa and promoted independence for Papua New Guinea. Social reforms. His government implemented significant social reforms, including the introduction of the Racial Discrimination Act, advancements in women's rights, and the establishment of the Australian Legal Aid Office. Economic reforms. Whitlam's economic policies aimed at boosting welfare and infrastructure development. However, his administration faced challenges such as inflation and a global economic downturn, which affected Australia's economy. Dismissal and aftermath. Whitlam's tenure as Prime Minister came to an abrupt end on November 11, 1975, in one of the most dramatic episodes in Australian political history. Governor-General Sir John Kerr dismissed Whitlam's government following a constitutional crisis over the Senate's refusal to pass the budget. This event, known as the dismissal, remains a contentious and debated aspect of Australian political history. The dismissal led to the 1975 federal election, in which Whitlam's government was defeated. Despite the controversy, Whitlam remained a significant figure in Australian politics, continuing as leader of the opposition until 1977, when he resigned from Parliament. Later life and legacy. After leaving politics, Whitlam pursued a career in academia and international diplomacy. He served as Australia's ambassador to UNESCO from 1983 to 1986, advocating for cultural and educational cooperation globally. Whitlam also wrote extensively, reflecting on his time in office and the political landscape of Australia. Gough Whitlam passed away on October 21, 2014, at the age of 98. His legacy is remembered for the profound changes he brought to Australian society and his vision for a more equitable and progressive nation. Despite the controversies surrounding his dismissal, Whitlam's contributions to Australia's development in healthcare, education, and foreign policy continue to be celebrated. Conclusion. Edward Gough Whitlam's life and career were characterised by a commitment to reform and progress. His time as Prime Minister, though brief, left an indelible mark on Australia's political and social fabric. His vision of a fairer, more inclusive Australia continues to inspire and shape the nation's identity.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.